Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our debut in Fitness for the Body, Mind, and Soul of Conscious Conversations. This is actually a real treat for me to be welcoming and sharing with you a good friend of mine, Judy Lynne Ray. So Judy, welcome.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
This is like the Oprah show. I'm excited. There you go. So I see we got a live audience, and this is all good. So anyway, Judy, as I was sharing earlier with our guest here today, that I've known you for 18 years and have been a witness to all of your spiritual gifts and your never-ending spirit of giving and sharing and healing and loving. And I just want to honor you for that and welcome you here today.
Well, thank you. I will accept that compliment, and I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And Judy, you know, when I first met you, I want to give just a little bit of an evolution of Judy Ray. And I met you at the Palm Beach Center for Living in 1993. You came in and immediately dug your heels in. You volunteered. You created a beautiful newsletter for us. It was a big undertaking. It was called Perceptions. And it was fabulous, and everyone really enjoyed that. And actually, that would be a great thing to sometime bring those old copies out and share them. But you also, I know, got into Healing Touch. Now, what year was that? That was really the beginning of your real spiritual commitment, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, Charlotte. That was 1994. And it's an interesting way to kind of start this dialogue, because the reason I got into that is I was having one of those downward dives in life, a divorce, a whole bunch of other things that go with a divorce. And I was kind of open to new and different things. I'd moved to Florida, I didn't really know anyone there. And one day, out of the blue, I received a flyer in the mail, a brochure, and I don't know how I got on the mailing list. And it said Healing Touch Level 1, and I'd never heard of Healing Touch before. And this was one of those heart-oriented moments, because it was not anything that I rationally figured out, like, should I take this, should I not take this? Something said to me, almost like a voice, you're going to be taking this class, and at some level you will be doing this for the rest of your life. Now, that's not a brain function. That's not the way my brain works. That was something here. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So that's how I started. And within a year and a half, I was certified. Within 3 years, I was teaching it in Romania. Like,
yeah,
whoa.
I remember that, absolutely. And I remember your first venture was the Band of Angels that you and Ellen and Rita had begun. And that was really such a special little energy vortex that the three of you created. And then you, of course, just went on and took it to a whole new level as well, and built up a whole practice. Really, you make your living pretty much from Healing Touch, don't you?
I make my living from holistic, alternative, and Healing Touch is definitely one of them.
Well, so tell us a little bit about what Healing Touch is.
Healing Touch is simply a way of using the hands to help your own immune system function more optimally. We all have our own healing ability, and Healing Touch is a hands-on, gentle way of helping that to happen.
Well, is it like Reiki?
It is, and all of those things really come from the same source energy. Healing Touch is a little bit different in that it is more technique-oriented, and because there's a certification program with it, it's in more hospitals and clinics, because the medical and scientific community love data. Okay, and when you have something that's certified, you get consistency, and then you get measurability, and then you get data, and then you get hospitals saying, oh. So that's one of the differences about it.
Well, and actually, you've done a lot of work in hospitals. A lot.
Yes, I do now, and you mentioned the Band of Angels before. I always love the fact that there's so much room for creativity when you get outside of the standard medical community, and I never tell anyone to stop going to the medical community. The alternative, or what is called now integrative community, is a wonderful addendum. It fills in the blanks, it fills in the empty spots. But when I started the Band of Angels, Ellen and I and another woman, Rita, again, it was heart energy. We didn't sit down and say, now here's a marketing plan, did we? No. We didn't do anything like that. All of a sudden, we had this connection with each other. We just had this energy together. We wanted to do service. We wanted to do healing. I dragged Ellen by the earlobe to Healing Touch Level 1. I said, I have this thing about it, and you're supposed to come. And then we found Rita, and we decided we would do something that was different. When a client would come to us, it would be 3-on-1. 3 sets of hands on one person. And Rita was the Reiki master, and the 2 of us were Healing Touch. And so that went for quite a long time. For 4 years, it went.
Well, so you followed your heart, is what you're saying.
I followed my heart, again.
And I think that's a great message for everyone listening.
Yeah, the most important things in my life, I came there following my heart. My family, when I said I'm going to be doing Healing Touch, said, what's wrong with you? How are you going to make a living? Why don't you get a real job? Okay. And of course, over the years, you know, when I see my family, honey, can you work on me with that Healing Touch just a little bit, please?
Exactly. Well, it is very powerful. And also, I know you've also blended oils. You're big into essential oils. And a lot of people don't understand really what they are. They like the way it smells, but they actually have healing properties. Can you explain a little bit about what essential oils, the benefits of them, and how they work?
Well, let me go back just for a moment and say, when we're talking about staying in the heart and heart energy, we're talking about actually raising your frequency. And when you've raised your frequency, what else happens? Your immune system kicks in. And essential oils are simply another way to help that happen. They have a very high frequency. And we're going to do a little bit of seminar this afternoon, and in that we're going to blend heart energy with allowing that heart energy to come out of the hands and add essential oils to it. It's just another help for that. And essential oils, you just can put a drop on your skin. Within a very short time, it will be in the bloodstream because the cellular structure is smaller than the skin wall. So you can bring in some lavender, as well as somebody's intention for your well-being from the heart, as well as hands-on.
And they're amazing how quickly they work. It's amazing how fast, if I have a headache or a muscle ache, how fast I just run in and naturally get the thieves or the deep relief or some of the other, well, Young Living, or I know your preference and mine too, but there's many good ones out there besides that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, Judy, I know that you and your friend Nancy Blue started a wonderful program a few years ago, and it's Beyond Surgery. So tell us about that. That's really exciting.
Well, the things I just described, all the techniques, we simply added some more and found an area that we felt really needed focus, and that is people going into surgery. People going into surgery have a lot of help from the medical community, and sometimes that does, but sometimes it does not address the anxieties that come on the road to surgery. So we have the Beyond Surgery program, which helps people before, up until a month, even more beforehand, goes coaching with surgical coaching and healing touch and sometimes essential oils through the surgical procedure and afterwards, accelerating healing and diminishing pain and a lot of other things, so we hear.
So are the doctors receptive to that?
Not always.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
That's our vision for the future. That's where heart energy comes in. Okay, the actual data with how many doctors have said, Judy and Nancy, bring that on, okay? No, not very many. But it's also really new. It's a new concept. It doesn't have what they call a morphic field yet. People haven't heard of ways to be helped on the way to surgery and after. So no, it's pretty much word of mouth, and but we're doing a lot of that, and we're hoping to bring it into Transylvania Hospital this year. We've started.
Well, that's very exciting. So congratulations on that project.
You.
Now, I did one thing I think where we really had a common passion in the beginning of when we met was through A Course in Miracles, and I know you've been a long-time student and teacher of that. And how has that affected your life? The Course in Miracles?
Well, right in the beginning of the Course in Miracles, it says that this is one path. It's not an optional course, but it's one way of taking the course, and it's been mine. It's been one of my primary ones. I have always felt that thinking was more stressful than I liked it to be. And I have found two things in my life that have really primarily helped me from having thoughts and thinking not as stressful. A Course in Miracles is one, and the Institute of HeartMath is the second one. Mm-hmm. Can I go on with that a little bit?
Yes, please do.
I was at a seminar, probably back in 1995, 96, and it wasn't a really very good one. The speaker was boring, and I was thinking of leaving at the break, but he said one thing, and that blends the Course in Miracles. One thing that made me realize this is why I came. Course in Miracles says everything happens for a reason. And he said, did you know that science has discovered that there are brain cells in the heart, and that the heart has its own little nervous system? Well, that struck me like the brochure that I got about Healing Touch that day, so much that I literally tried to go up to the speaker, who was not only boring but had a huge ego, and he had all his groupies around him and adoring him and holding his hand and this kind of thing, so I never got close. So I had to go home and I had to start researching. This was before Google. And Greg Braden was the person who told me where to find more research, and as soon as I did, I got on a plane out to Boulder Creek, Colorado to find out about this. Now this may have looked like a little bit of overkill, and as I look back on it, because I did take the first 2 levels of it and I had it as part of my healing, and I have ever since to some degree, I realized what had been my motivation. I wanted thinking to be less stressful. And with that, it just segued into the Course in Miracles so beautifully. And I look at the way we usually handle things that bother us. I mean, we're going through some really changing times right now. Has anyone noticed? Has anyone noticed there's so many crises around? And has anyone noticed how we usually go about dealing with those things, Charlotte?
Absolutely. Well, and Judy, one thing I wanted to share today with everyone out here, many of which know you already, but the people watching this online, one thing that has impressed me so much about you, yes, you're a teacher, yes, you have the knowledge, and you know the words to say, you know all the stuff, but you're living it. And, you know, for me, it's like, okay, the Course in Miracles and all of these other teachings really do give us an option of how to respond when life doesn't really present us with the most wonderful things. And you've had some very personal, major tragedies in your life the past few years. And your ability to move through those with the grace and ease that you did, sure, there was pain, but you were able to really get through those, and it was such a wonderful testimony to who you are. I mean, and all of us, I think, know that, that know you and what you've experienced. And these tools, I'm sure, have helped you, right?
Absolutely, and you said one of the key phrases there for me, and yes, there is pain. Well, there's always, as part of life, going to be pain. And, you know, the Eastern tradition says that all misery is caused from running towards pleasure and away from pain. And it just doesn't work that way. We came here to experience it all. If you believe the Course in Miracles or a lot of the Eastern and Western traditions, we came here for the carrot sticks as well as the chocolate cake. Okay? We came here for the whole thing. And then we spend so much energy trying to avoid a part of it that is really necessary. And we get into all these myths around it also. We get into the myth of if only, or as soon as, if only I were thinner. As soon as I get my Visa card paid off, then my life will take off.
How did you know my mantra? She's a mind reader as well.
Well, give us one of your if-onlys, or as soon as.
Well, it's as soon as my life slows down a little bit, I'm going to take time to get in shape.
Okay. And as soon as you're in shape, how will that feel different to you?
I will have more energy and stamina and wear some of the clothes I like to wear.
That sounds like a really nice situation. How will that situation affect how you feel? What is the feeling?
Well, I would feel more at peace. I think I would feel, peace.
Okay, peaceful. Now, did you see what happened just there? We took Charlotte from the brain to the heart. Okay, where do we feel our feelings? We feel our feelings in the heart. Where do we live most of the time? Where do we spend most of our time?
In the head.
In the head, rationalizing. And Einstein said over 100 years ago, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that brought you there. So all of our if-onlys and as-soon-ases, start thinking of one of your own. Not particularly to say it right now, but just thinking about one of your if-only. If only I had just my mortgage paid off, and then I could live my life and wouldn't have to start worrying, I'd have enough, da-da-da. You all have one. And if you can just do what Charlotte just did, and that I facilitated her with doing, and I'm going to facilitate you a little bit also, is get to the feeling you believe it would bring you to. Because here is the trick to all this. The pain isn't going to just stop happening in life. You are going to have challenging moments. You are going to, as soon as one if only gets taken care of, another one will pop up. Another as soon as will take its place. That's what we signed up for. That's life. And every time we go through the fire a little bit, guess what? We get a degree in the heart of being able to lend a hand to the next person who needs that help and who's going through that same thing. So there's reasons for all of it. Go to the feeling you think you want. And with that, you can accelerate that through heart. And it's so easy to do. I'm going to teach you in a few minutes how to do that and to live that way.
Well, Judy, there's no need to wait. Why don't we go ahead? Let's do it now. Now you've got everyone's little ears perked up. Okay. Let's do it. Everyone wants to go there.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to just take you through a brief little exercise. And those of you who are watching this on a video, please join us in going through this exercise and just follow my voice. I'm going to help you, first of all, focus on your heart. And then breathe through your heart, and then activate the heart energy. So close your eyes and just focus for a moment. I'm going to teach you focus first. Focus for a moment on the big toe of your right foot. Just focus. All your focus is on that big toe. Breathe into that toe. Maybe even wiggle it a little better. A little more. Good. That was easy. And now go to your left earlobe. No touching. Just think about it. All your focus is on that left earlobe. Now, it's not so easy to wiggle that, is it? But that's okay. Just focus on it. And now your nostrils. Breathe in and focus on that cool, clear air coming into your nostrils. See how easy it is to learn to focus on areas of the body. And now the heart. Just slightly to the left of center, in the middle of your chest. It's just as easy to focus on the internal if you know where it is. And now move that focus slightly to the center where the heart chakra is. And focus on that. And now I'd like you to breathe into that heart chakra. Imagine you have no nose, no mouth, just the heart breath, breathing into the heart to the count of 4 and hold it. And then breathe out to the count of 4. Breathing in to the count of 4. And breathing out to the count of 4. And now as you're doing that, you're going to start imagining or feeling a kind of circular motion in the heart, because you are enhancing the frequency. And as you continue to breathe through the heart, think now of some person or time in your life that made you feel happy and loving. Think of a moment, maybe when you held your baby for the first time, maybe standing by the ocean or in nature, maybe hearing some music, maybe seeing an animal or touching the fur of your animal. And keep breathing through the heart. And now come back, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, take a breath, and open your eyes. And what you did was called the Quick Coherence Technique from the Institute of Heart Math. And it is something that is so simple. It's being taught in schools, police departments, all sorts of jobs that are stressful, such as air controllers. And with those just few minutes, you can shift your whole problem. Now, can you solve it with the brain? Probably not. But you see, the brain is the natural survivor and the heart is the natural healer. When you keep your problems in the brain, they just kind of spin and spin and spin, and sometimes they tend to develop antenna and have babies, and they just go on and on and on. So when you want to actually shift that, send it to the heart. It may not shift the situation, but the heart is the natural healer. And you know something interesting? Every heartbeat starts with an electrical current. And that electrical current creates a magnetic field around the whole body. Now, the magnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times the frequency as that of the brain. And yet, where do we live? So that is the key and the core of the heart math, quick coherence technique.
And that's, it's so powerful. Did you all feel it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's something simple. We can do it anytime. And thank you for that. That was a wonderful exercise. Now, you had mentioned you may want to do another exercise, or yes, no?
I think we'll do those this afternoon. What I'm doing today, this morning, is having you bring heart energy for yourself to yourself. This afternoon, we're going to get that heart going and have it go through the hands and even through the voice. And sometimes people say to me, Judy, your voice is very soothing. And what that is something that is actually authentic, but it's an authentic technique that all of you can learn. It's simply bringing that heart energy through your voice with intention, feeling the caring that you have for whoever's around you, and bringing that through your hands. Now, you can do this without sitting like in a meditative position like that. If all you do is learn to breathe into the heart as you go through the day, you can do that when you're driving. Don't close your eyes. That breathing through the heart, as if you had no nose or mouth, will increase the frequency of the heart. And the heart is the primary oscillator of the body, and it will entrain the rest of your body. Who knows what I mean by entrain? Okay? It means that if there are two electronic modules side by side with different frequencies, the one of the lower frequency, by a law of physics, tends to come up to the one of the higher one. And it works that way with people. There are people, for instance, Charlotte, that it just feels mellow and relaxing and healing to be in her presence. She doesn't have to say anything. She doesn't have to do anything. There are people like that, and we can all develop that more. So this is one of the ways of doing it.
Well, thank you, Judy, and thank all of you all for joining us today, and hopefully you enjoyed this presentation. And Judy, one last thing before we end this time together. How can people contact you? What's your website information and contact information?
Okay, well, my website is www.beyondsurgery.net, Okay, and you'll find all my information on there also as a Healing Touch person. And the private sessions I give include heart math if you want it, Healing Touch, aromatherapy, and spiritual counseling, I guess you could call it. But I would welcome you on my website. I would welcome you on my phone.
Thank you, Judy. It's been a wonderful interview, and I look forward to having you again in the future. Namaste.
Thank you, Sharon.